So, this is really funny, isn't it? Today we are diving into an idea that was brought on to the Spittin' Chicklets podcast. They posted a clip of this on their social media, and there were some conversations that sparked up about it as well. We're going to have primarily two talks today. Firstly, of course, you see him on the screen. We're going to be talking about Tate McRae's date the other day, Jack Hughes of the New Jersey Devils. And we're also going to be talking about his brothers, where one of them is, how good the other one is, and whether or not there can be some sort of an overlap. Also, we'll discuss whether or not it's appropriate to talk about this stuff. You'll see what I mean later in the video, but starting things out, I wanted to bring up this Chicklets video clip where Ryan Whitney goes out there and talks about the Hughes bros and what exactly things can look like in the future. Whit says here on the broadcast, I'm not trying to throw any shade, but you got Luke, and I'm sorry, you got Quinn, and you got Jack, and then all the way at the bottom, when you go down, that's when you got Luke. And so, they're brothers, right? Like, that's the situation in terms of how things are, the types of players we're talking about. Luke is not near the same level that Jack and Quinn are at. So, Whit goes out there and says, what's stopping Jack from being like, I'm going to go to Minnesota too, when my contract is up, and I'm going to go over and play with Quinn. So, pretty chopped up explanation there. I apologize. We could have just played the clip, but it's copyrighted material. I don't want to do that. Essentially, Whit is proposing on the broadcast whether or not Jack Hughes could up and away yeet himself over to the Minnesota Wild to join his brother Quinn Hughes. And I will admit, the shade of Luke Hughes here in this clip maybe is a little bit unnecessary, but I do understand the point that is being made here. Essentially, Whit is saying, hey, you've got three brothers, Jack, Luke, and Quinn. Two of these guys are absolute top-of-the-league level superstars in the older two. The third one is still finding his way. And the second one in Jack, hey, his contract expires sooner than Luke's does. Quinn is on a team that you can say is in a winning culture in Minnesota. At least that's what they're looking to be. And Jack is in a spot where if he wants to potentially change his long-term focus, he doesn't want to stay in New Jersey for the rest of his career, he'll have an opportunity to make that choice in 2030. He'll be 29, he'll be in the prime of his career, he'll be opening the doors to brand new teams if he decides to not re-sign right away. So, could we see Jack Hughes decide in 2030's offseason to join Quinn with the Minnesota Wild? I think a lot is going to be decided as to when Quinn makes his own contract extension decision as well, because his contract expires 2027. He's eligible for an extension in 2026's summer. That, of course, is when a lot of Canucks fans were wondering about his own future with Vancouver, whether or not Quinn would re-sign with the Canucks. Ultimately, it was revealed that he wouldn't have. But now, with all the conversations that he would be apparently open to signing with the Minnesota Wild long-term, it does make things feel a little bit different when you consider the timeline of everything. If Quinn Hughes goes long-term with Minnesota, let's say he signs from 2027, 2028, all the way to 2033, 2034. At that stage, if Jack's contract expires just 2-3 years later, would it not be in his own best interests to be like, yeah, no, Minnesota looks like the destination here? And so you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below whether or not that actually is a possibility. I do think it's worth noting as well that with all the backlash of Quinn Hughes not going to New Jersey and Devils fans calling for Fitzgerald's head because of all the no-move clauses and no-trade clauses that prevented the Devils from being able to make a Quinn Hughes trade go through, you can debate whether or not the other two brothers are a little bit ticked off that older brother Quinn was not able to find a home with the Devils. We also saw Brock Besser say that Quinn, specifically, it's not really like his main goal is to play with his brothers. His main goal is just to win. Whether or not that happens in Minnesota or Vancouver or New Jersey, as long as he's able to compete, that seems to have been the priority. And so where does that leave Luke? Because Luke's contract goes on till 2031, 2032. He is the longest tenured Hughes bro under contract at the moment. He's also the most expensive at $9 million a year. Unfortunately, this season, Luke Hughes is only on pace for 43 points, which for the most part I'd say is a pretty good number. Generally speaking, any 22-year-old defenseman getting 40 points in a year is fine, but at $9 million a year, as the most expensive Hughes bro, he's the youngest brother but the most expensive and also the least productive, it does open the conversation as to just how good the other two Hughes bros are, and how Luke is definitely falling behind in the talent profile when you compare these three together. And this is why the clip that was posted on the Twitter was posted by a Twitter user named Sienna. Do people know they can praise Jack and Quinn without minimizing Luke? The Minnesota jersey point didn't need Luke minimized. I'm so confused. And this sparked an entire other conversation. Hey, Luke is lucky that his last name is Hughes. If it was Luke Smith or anything else, he would be perceived as the below-average D-man that he is. Super overrated thanks to his brothers. He is not in the same league as his brothers. And then you also had this quote from MD Nux0, Luke isn't even on the same stratosphere as Jack and Quinn. Get this garbage off my timeline. He is not being minimized. He's not even close. Now, I will say, I acknowledge the point that the original Twitter poster is making, essentially saying, like, why did you need to acknowledge that Luke is that much worse than the other two when making the point about Jack Hughes potentially going to Minnesota? I can see why the two can be unrelated to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, if Jack Hughes also has that same desire to win, he probably is a same ultra-competitive type of guy like his older brother Quinn is. I mean, they're all part of the same family after all. If Jack Hughes, at some point, just decides for himself some of the same things that Quinn decided for himself as the captain of Vancouver, if Jack in 2028, 2029 starts to go through a similar type of situation with the Devils, then oh boy, y'all's better watch out. It is not guaranteed at this point that New Jersey ends up signing Quinn Hughes in the offseason in 2027. I'd say it's looking a little bit more likely that we get thrown a big monkey wrench for the future of Quinn Hughes. It was never going to be one or the other, Vancouver or New Jersey. All of a sudden, Minnesota seems like a top-tier contender. Or wherever else you can project competitive winning hockey to be played. Do you think Jack Hughes could inevitably find himself on the same team with Quinn in Minnesota? Do you think this will happen where two Hugheses leave, one of them stays, and the two Hugheses that leave are ones that decide to play together with the Wild? Luke Hughes ends up sticking around in New Jersey for a while, and do you think he has that ceiling to inevitably become in the same territory that Jack and Quinn are at right now? Luke is a long way to go. I'd say the talent is still there. He was 4th overall for a reason, and he's the most expensive for a reason. But for now, I'd say Jack and Quinn are in a step above, and it may not even be too close. So with that in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I know this was a scrambly video, not really one with all too much cohesion, but I did want to get this idea tossed out there. Let me know in the comments all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.